Welcome back to the Technology Risk Podcast.
Today, we're digging into an incident that really delivers a painful lesson for any company that relies on a supply chain.
Right. The question isn't just, is your own network secure anymore?
It's, can your business actually survive when one of your partners gets hit?
That is the absolute core of it. We're looking at reports from Nikkei Asia and Reuters back on December 29, 2025.
The Toyota incident.
Exactly. A major manufacturer and one of its suppliers. And the key takeaway, the really stunning part, is that Toyota's own systems were not breached.
Not at all, and yet production still had to slow down.
It's just proof that in modern manufacturing, your digital security perimeter, it doesn't end at your firewall.
No, it ends where your supplier's just-in-time delivery begins. This isn't theoretical risk. It's operational reality.
And the broader data backs this up completely.
It does. IBM X-Force found that 62% of cyber incidents in manufacturing now start with third-party suppliers.
62%. That is, wow, that's almost two-thirds, all originating outside your own walls.
I mean, it shows you where the attackers are focused. They're not trying to break down the front door anymore.
They're just slipping in through the vendor's unmonitored back entrance. So our mission today is to break down this ripple effect, show why this is now a primary operational risk, and then give you 5 concrete steps to mitigate it.
And before we unpack all that, we want to make sure you can stay current with this whole evolving threat landscape.
Definitely. Please take a moment to subscribe to the Technology Risk Podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, or, wherever you listen.
Okay, so let's start with the incident itself. The cyber disruption at the supplier. Why was the impact on Toyota so immediate?
It all comes down to their famous just-in-time process, or JIT.
Right, where maximum efficiency can, and in this case did, breed maximum fragility. JIT is revolutionary because it cuts waste by reducing inventory buffers.
And not by a little. According to McKinsey, we're talking about a reduction of up to 90%.
90%, which is fantastic for your balance sheet, but it just fundamentally eliminates any kind of resilience.
It means you might only have parts on hand for a few hours of work, maybe less. So when that supplier's IT system fails,
That's it. They can't confirm shipments. They can't sequence the parts for the assembly line. They can't physically ship anything.
so the parts availability just breaks instantly.
Precisely. The system is optimized for speed, but the trade-off is resilience. It assumes a perfect, continuous flow of data.
And when that flow is interrupted, the line stops.
And this isn't even a new lesson for them. Toyota has faced this before, not just with cyber attacks, but with natural disasters affecting suppliers.
Every single time, it confirms the same truth. Your supply chain resilience is now completely inseparable from cybersecurity.
So you have this system built for speed with zero slack, and now you have this rising threat against suppliers.
Why are these huge manufacturers being forced to shut down because, a small company they work with can't deliver a part?
It's that false sense of security. I mean, corporations have relied on it for decades. They invest millions in their own perimeter, assuming that's the boundary of their risks.
But the threat actors are smarter than that. They just follow the path of least resistance.
To get the maximum leverage.
So these Tier 2 and Tier 3 suppliers
Yeah.
and companies that supply the main suppliers, they're the real soft targets.
Oh, absolutely. They are so much easier to breach. And critically, a breach there offers a much wider blast radius.
Oh, so.
You hit one key component maker, you can potentially cripple 5 of their major customers all at once. The leverage is just enormous.
And that softness, that comes down to their security maturity, correct?
Yeah.
They just don't have the same resources.
That's the key. They often lack things we take for granted, like 204/7 monitoring, dedicated security teams, or a mature incident response plan.
There's a stat on that, isn't there?
There is, and it's alarming. Deloitte found that 54% of manufacturing suppliers operate without a formal cybersecurity program.
More than half.
More than half your supply base is basically running without basic security standards.
For an attacker, that's not a gap. That's a wide open door. It's a siren call.
And we saw the ultimate proof of this with NotPetya years ago. The attackers didn't go head-to-head with the big global companies.
No, they used a single, pretty small accounting software supplier as the entry point.
And that was enough. It crippled massive global manufacturers, shippers, retailers, all in a matter of hours.
So the goal isn't even to steal the small supplier's data.
Not at all. It's to use them as a lever, a very sophisticated, cost-effective lever to put maximum pressure on the giants at the top of the food chain.
It's just a calculated business decision for them.
Huh.
Why spend months trying to hack a multinational when you can compromise their vendor in a week?
Exactly. So if these suppliers are the weak link, what's the actual cost when that link breaks? Let's talk about the financial damage.
It's immediate,
Huh.
and it is staggering. The Aberdeen Group puts the average cost of a manufacturing line stoppage at $22,000
Per minute.
per minute. And that clock starts ticking the second that JIT system fails to get its parts.
$22,000 every 60 seconds. Can you break down what goes into that number? It's more than just idle time, right?
Much more. You've got labor costs for idle workers. You still have to pay them. You have overhead, electricity, facility costs.
And then the scrap and rework from partial shutdowns.
Right. And maybe the biggest piece is lost opportunity cost.
Yeah.
The revenue from that missed production window is just gone. You never get it back.
And that's just on the factory floor. The chaos must ripple out from there.
Total chaos. One missed shipment screws up schedules across multiple shifts, maybe multiple plants, all your logistics partners.
And then you get into the contract risks.
Exactly. Missed delivery penalties, lost customer trust, maybe even losing future contracts. All of it hits the bottom line for months to come.
This sounds like a problem for the giants, for the Toyotas of the world. But this matters just as much to smaller businesses, doesn't it?
It matters profoundly to them because they are often sitting right in the middle of this chain.
They're the pivot point. An SMB is almost always both a customer and a supplier.
So they can get hit from their own insecure suppliers from below.
And at the same time, they can be the single point of failure that shuts down the giant manufacturer above them. They're vulnerable from both directions.
And if that SMB thinks their cyber insurance is going to save them when a vendor fails, they really need to read the fine print.
They absolutely should. A huge blind spot in many policies is that they don't cover lost revenue from supplier downtime.
So you're insured against your own breach, but not the damage caused when your vendor can't deliver. That's a huge gap.
Meanwhile, the giants are trying to push this risk back down the chain.
Right. PwC noted that 71% of large manufacturers plan to tighten their suppliers' cyber requirements in 2026.
That's the clearest warning shot I've seen. If you're an SMB and you can't meet those new, tougher security standards,
You don't just risk a shutdown. You risk losing your contract entirely.
cyber readiness is quickly becoming the cost of entry. It's not just a smart practice anymore.
This all implies a huge shift in thinking. So how do we move from being exposed to being prepared? The first step has to be treating this as an operational risk.
Yes, this is critical. You have to get it out of the pure IT silo. You have to model a supplier outage like you would a fire or a flood or a major equipment failure.
It has to be quantified at the operations level. What's the impact on throughput, on capacity,
Yeah.
not just what's on the security dashboard?
And once you've made that mental shift, you need a plan. Step one has to be identifying your single points of failure.
Map your dependencies. Ask the hard question. Which supplier, if they go offline for 5 days, halts 80% of our production?
Those are your critical points. And for those vendors, you have to mandate minimum security standards.
It's non-negotiable. And we should be specific. We're talking about basics like requiring multi-factor authentication, MFA.
Right. So even if a password is stolen, access is still blocked. It also means regular patching and real-world backup and recovery testing.
And clear incident notification, SLAs.
That service level agreement for notification is key. It sets a time limit, say 4 hours, where they must tell you if they've had an incident.
Whether they think it'll affect you or not, you need that information for your own planning.
Exactly. Step 3 is about limiting the blast radius, segmenting connectivity.
If a supplier needs access to your system to track inventory or something, that access has to be locked down to only what is absolutely necessary.
We call it the principle of least privilege. If their system just needs to push a shipment time, they should have absolutely no access to your design schematics or finance documents.
So if they get breached, the attackers only get into a tiny operational window.
The fourth step is building in flexibility. We know JIT is efficient, but resilience needs some slack.
So create strategic buffers for those critical single-source parts. Or, and this is vital, pre-approve alternative suppliers.
So you can pivot quickly when a key vendor goes down.
This moves redundancy from a nice idea to an actual actionable plan. Pre-approving a secondary vendor means they've already passed your cyber checks. Their logistics are mapped.
And their parts are tested. You can reduce a shutdown from days to maybe just a few hours.
And finally, number 5, you have to integrate this into your business continuity planning.
Run tabletop exercises that specifically assume a key supplier is down because of a cyber attack.
Don't just plan for an internal breach when your team is in control.
No, run the scenario where the failure is completely outside your control. That forces your operations, procurement, and legal teams to actually execute that pivot plan. That's the real test.
Let's bring this to life. Let's look at a couple of scenarios, the prepared versus the exposed.
There's a great success story with a mid-size auto parts manufacturer. They had adopted this exact approach. They required cyber attestations from all their critical vendors.
And they had secondary suppliers pre-approved.
Crucially, yes. So when their primary supplier was hit by ransomware, they just transitioned production to the secondary supplier. Minimal disruption.
The lesson is crystal clear. That kind of operational redundancy isn't optional anymore. It's mandatory.
Now contrast that with the manufacturer who was exposed.
The failure example.
They relied on a single overseas supplier for a critical component. They had zero contractual cyber requirements, no visibility into their partner's security.
So when the supplier got hit with ransomware, it was a complete surprise.
A total shock. Their production line was halted for 5 full days. It cost them millions.
The takeaway there is so simple. A trusted supplier does not automatically mean a secure supplier.
Just has to be verified continuously through controls, audits, and those notification SLAs we talked about.
Looking forward, we can probably expect this to accelerate, right?
I think so. You'll see more supplier incidents because attackers know it works, and you'll see a big shift in who has the competitive advantage.
The manufacturers who invest in this now, the ones who can stay running while their competitors are stalled.
They're going to win the contracts. They're going to build that long-term customer loyalty.
So what does this all mean for you, our listener? We've looked at how a supplier incident slowed production, even without a direct breach. The core lesson is that third-party cyber risk is now first-party business risk.
And it has to be managed that way, as a critical operational failure point.
Our final encouragement is to act on this now. Map your dependencies, raise your cyber expectations for your partners, and actively plan for these upstream failures before one of them shuts you down.
And that really brings us to our final thought for you to consider this week.
The greatest threat to your operational continuity today isn't how hard your own systems are to hack. It's how easy it is for your most critical vendor to get compromised.
Thank you for joining us for this analysis. If you found this discussion valuable, please remember to subscribe to the Technology Risk Podcast on your favorite listening platform.
Whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube Music. We'll talk to you next time on the Technology Risk Podcast.